I am here at Viking Psychiatry, which offers groundbreaking treatments and cutting-edge solutions for treatment of depression, OCD, and other mental health disorders. Today, we're going to learn about their Deep TMS solutions. Let's do it.
Fashion, food, and fun. You're watching Living Local 15 with your host, Jessica Williams.
This segment sponsored by Viking Psychiatry. And joining me now is Sean Goddard, who is the owner here at Viking Psychiatry. Hey there, Sean.
Hey, it's good
How's
to
it
see you
going?
again.
You too. Okay, so we are diving deeper into learning about your practice, but of course, start off by giving us an overview.
Yeah, so Viking Psychiatry, we've been in Fort Wayne for about 3 years now, and we consider ourselves now an interventional psychiatry practice. And so that's just a fancy way of saying we have tools that nobody else has that can make a difference in people's mental health.
Yeah, and I know it's important that you create an environment that's different than what people would expect, right? This is not a mental health institution where there's white walls and just, as you say, sterile environment. You want it to be cozy and quaint. So share with me a little bit about why.
Yeah, we want people to feel comfortable, right? One of the best things that came out of COVID, and not a lot of good came out of COVID, right?
Yeah.
But it helped reduce the stigma of mental health, right? Because a lot of us struggled during COVID, right?
Absolutely.
Or sought help for the first time during COVID. And so we want to continue to reduce that stigma by providing an environment that's warm, welcoming, that makes you feel comfortable when you walk in the door and doesn't make you feel like you're walking in just to get a treatment, right? We want people to feel good when they walk in and great when they walk out.
Yeah, and so one of the treatments that you offer here is Deep TMS, and we are in that room right now with this lovely machine behind us. So what is Deep TMS?
Deep TMS, I joke with my clients and I tell my clients it's the Rolls Royce of TMS, right? So there's what's traditionally called a figure 8 TMS, so it's two coils, kind of magnets put together, and a beam shoots out of the middle. And while traditional TMS is good, it's very dependent upon proper placement, right? And we don't really get that deep with regular TMS. We can only penetrate about 1.5 centimeters deep. And Deep TMS is a coiled system, and I'll kind of show you what's inside that helmet is this, right? Instead of being a tiny little beam that shoots down, we have this coiled system that covers your entire prefrontal lobe, is what we call this here. And because of that, we're able to treat for depression, instead of just treating a small pinpoint area of that left prefrontal lobe, we can treat the entire amount. And we actually penetrate 4 to 6 centimeters deep. So we have a much higher success of treatment when it comes to depression and other mental health disorders.
So is it a microwave? Like what is it that goes down to kind of, or is it a stimulation tool?
We're not frying eggs here or scrambling eggs, right? No, great question. So it's called electromagnetic stimulation, right? And so we're putting in magnetic pulses, right? And electromagnetic pulses. And that's what's kind of waking the brain up, right? And you'll see here later when we put the helmet on somebody, makes a little bit of a noise, not scary at all, and there's no pain associated with it at all. And so it allows people to get a treatment that's non-invasive, that they can come in for their treatment, and as soon as they're done, drive home themselves.
Okay, and so let's talk about what it helps. Like what are you treating through this machine?
Yeah, so in the US, it's currently at this time, it's FDA approved for ages 18 and above for treatment-resistant depression, depression with anxiety, and OCD, as well as most recently smoking cessation. Now, when it comes to other countries, they have additional approvals for example, ADHD, MS fatigue, substance use disorder. There's a lot that we can treat with TMS. Regretfully, we're a little restricted on FDA approvals in the US because it's so hard and so expensive to get approvals. But we can in the US do what's called off-label treatments and treat things like ADHD and those things we talked about. So
interesting. And so how does the treatment work? So you're stimulating the brain and that causes people to have a different thought, a different sensation? Is the mind just kind of healing in areas that causes those types of disorders?
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what we do is you know, if you think about like a muscle that's not used, what happens to it? It begins to waste away, right?
Yes.
And then we go through physical therapy, right, to begin to rebuild the strength in that muscle. Well, the brain is no different. When we have, for example, depression, our frontal lobe, left especially, begins to waste away, right? And those synapses, right, that we hear about where dopamine and serotonin and those types of things are supposed to have an effect, don't operate the way they're supposed to, right? So they're rough idling like a car that you just pulled out of the garage, right, after a long time. And so what TMS does is it sends in those waves and takes that rough idle to a little bit smoother of an idle, right? And then smoother, and then now all of a sudden you can drive it down the road like you used to. And that's what we want people to be able to do, is drive down the road like they used to, right? And so we're not changing anything, right? We're not changing the structure of the brain, we're just waking it back up again. In other things like, for example, ADHD, we're slowing some areas of the brain, like the temporal lobes that might be going too fast, that's causing those racing thoughts that won't allow your brain to shut off, but also stimulating that frontal lobe, which is the conductor of the orchestra, and saying, wake up and conduct, right? And so we have that capability to do that with this machine.
That's so deep, because I feel like some of the preliminary issues as like ADHD can really impact other areas, as you're saying, and I'm thinking about it. So if it is that hyperactivity, does that play a part in people who have insomnia?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you, giving the example of ADHD, I tell people all the time, my clients, if you strip everything away from ADHD and you break it down to its basics, it's about communication, right? And so this area of the brain is communicating slow and lazy, especially the longer we have to sit still and pay attention and listen and all those types of things, right? Whereas these parts of the brain are in overdrive, right? And they're racing 1,000,000 miles an hour. And so in our world today, it's go, 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 right? And so if you think about those windy toys, right, that we used to have as kids, you wind them up and let them go, right? And so during the day, we're constantly cranking that wind, cranking it. And then we come home, and what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to be able to relax and enjoy our family and our time. But we don't get to do that much anymore, right? We got to come home and clean and cook dinner, and because it's two-income families, etc.
Right.
And so then when we finally lay down, because we want to go to sleep, we let go of the wine. Right? And what happens? Zoom. We want to take off. And that's what our brain does. It zooms and it takes off, right? And so it can absolutely interfere with our ability to go to sleep, stay asleep, or even waking up at 1 o'clock in the morning and then not being able to go back to sleep.
Wow, it's so good. I mean, it just all really just intertwines into each other. And so tell me, who is eligible for this type of deep TMS treatment?
Yeah, so right now, 18 and above with this machine. The exciting thing is the FDA did just approve with another machine treatment in adolescent clients as well. And we expect to see that come through on this machine as well. So we'll finally have another treatment options for adolescents, which can be very restricted. And as long as there's just a couple of things that cut people off, for example, maybe having like a deep brain stimulator or metal in the head, right? There's a couple things that exclude people, but other than that, it's us assessing the client, making sure that they're clinically appropriate, maybe conferring with their current psychiatric provider, and then it's all about insurance coverage as well, of course.
Of course. Okay, well, let's take a look at how this machine works.
Absolutely.
Have an idea for the show? Want to find out how you can be a guest? Contact us at livinglocal15@wayne.com.
Do you want to know the best places to go to eat and drink around Northeast Indiana? Well, join me, Jessica Williams, for Living Local 15, weekdays at 9 a.m. as I take you inside of the best restaurants, new and old, explore their menu, and of course, mix up some cocktails. Where will I go next? Well, you'll have to watch and see, but I want to know, where do you recommend I go?
Keep up with Jessica Williams on Living Local 15, weekdays at 9.
Okay, Sean, so how does this machine work?
Yeah, so I've got Kayla here. She's volunteered to be my guinea pig for the day. And so when clients come in, we put this cap on them, right? And I tell them it's always Instagram worthy, so they can post it for all their friends and family members to see. And what this cap does is it just provides us, if you see, we've got these lines on the front, and it helps provide targeting for where I'm looking to aim or treat what's called Kayla's motor threshold, which really just has to do with stimulating that motor cortex.
Okay.
And so we put this cap on her and we make sure that it's all lined up correctly here.
Okay.
And then as I come around here, we take this helmet, and the helmet gets lined up differently based on the individual, right? So this is an individualized treatment.
Okay.
It's not a one-size-fits-all type of system, right? And so we take this cap, and we're just going to end up placing it on her like this. And then we take this chin strap to hold it in place, and Miss Kayla's going to put 2 fingers under, because I'm going to press down firmly while I connect this. And some of the clients and staff joke that it's the Goddard pressure, because we want to make sure that that helmet is nice and snug.
Okay.
The better the connection to the skin, the better the connection we have inside. And so once we have this all lined up and we make sure that it's placed correctly, then Miss Kayla's ready to begin treatment. The interesting thing is with traditional treatment, it would take 45 minutes for a treatment. And with the newer traditional machines, it takes about 25 minutes.
Okay.
With this machine, I can complete a standard treatment in 9 to 11 minutes, depending on what I'm treating and their motor threshold.
Yes.
And so one of the nice things is we actually book 30-minute appointments. So we could do a secondary treatment at no additional cost to our clients while they're here, use up that full 30 minutes, and really try to punch home on the depression or whatever we're treating.
So secondary treatment meaning treating the same thing 2 treatments, or choosing a different area of the brain to work?
Yes.
Okay.
Both, right? So depending, like if I have somebody that has really severe depression, then I might do this treatment with what's called a theta burst, which is an even deeper, more intense penetrating treatment to really at the beginning to try to wake up that frontal lobe and cause immediate changes, right? But then I might have somebody that has really bad anxiety or ADHD, and so while they're here, we'll treat one of those as well, so that they're getting the most from their time in their treatment while they're here. That's not standard at centers to do that.
Yeah.
It's just something that we do here to try to maximize the outcomes for our clients while they're here.
I love that. You're giving them more value.
Absolutely.
Okay, and so how does it feel? Like, I see that it's a tight fit. Is this comfortable? Is it an uncomfortable position to be in for 10 minutes?
Yeah, overall it's not. What we tell our clients is you can move your head left to right. You just can't move up and down because we don't want to shift the position of the helmet. And so we have a TV on, you know, we have Netflix and all those things. We ask people to pick a funny show or something that makes them happy because we want to ignite those pathways, right? And so they get to sit here and watch the show while this is going on, and so most people have no discomfort. Every once in a while you might get a little bit of stiff in the neck just because people forget that I say they can turn left or right, and so they get a little bit sore, but overall there are no long-term lasting side effects from this or generally any pain associated with it.
Okay.
And so when we're ready to begin treatment, we just go over here and we already have it what's called pre-mapped. So in this case, we're ready to treat Miss Kayla. And so we'll begin treatment and we charge. All right, Miss Kayla, you ready? All right, and 3, 2, 1. So as you can see, it's pulsing, right? And so it pulses for about 4 seconds, 2 seconds, excuse me, and then it has an 8-second cool down where that machine is cooling down. I don't have it on right now for noise, but we have an advanced cooling system that you can hear. And that's what enables us to be able to do the treatment very quickly in just those 10 minutes.
Wow.
And I often have clients do this, and if you're feeling brave, all right, I'll show you first. I'm gonna put my hand inside the helmet here, and I'm gonna hit charge, and I'm gonna hit start. Oh! No, I'm just joking, right? And so as you can see, I have my hand in there, so if you want to, you can put your hand in and see.
Let's see. Okay, yeah.
See, no pain, just a little pulsing there. And so that's what the standard treatment is like and feels like with Deep TMS.
Wow. And so let's talk about how many treatments are necessary. So is this something that people continuously get every couple of weeks throughout the year, or is there a specific treatment plan?
Yeah, great question. So it depends on what we're treating, but the standard treatment for depression, you actually come 5 days a week. And you're going to do that for 6 weeks.
Okay.
And then in the 7th week you come 3 times, and the 8th week you come 2 times, and in the 9th week you come 1 time. So it's kind of a taper off, kind of like you would taper off a medication, right? And typically what we see is generally by week 2 to 3 is when people begin to notice a difference. And after that we tend to see continued improvement. Now, everything that we're treating, whether anxiety, OCD, ADHD, it has different treatment protocols and lengths depending on what we're treating. Not all of them are as long as the depression treatment is. But the great thing about this is you can come here, you can get your treatment, and you can drive yourself home, right? You can go straight to work, right? You can come here on your lunch break and get a treatment. And so we try to design it to make it easy to fit into people's schedule. So they can get this treatment done.
That's awesome. So let's talk about results. So after those tapered treatments, how does a person feel after that? Or what's the, I know there's no recovery, but are they cured or will they have to be reassessed?
Great question. So the FDA studies show that Deep TMS has about a 65% remission rate, success rate. At our office, we run closer to about 80%, and I think that's because of the secondary treatment that we provide. And so, you know, it's remission. There is no cure for depression. And so when it comes to kind of like thinking about cancer, right? Right now, we can cause it to go into remission, right? But there is no cure per se for, and so depression's the same way. We don't have a cure, but we can cause remission. Now, how long is remission? That can really vary on the individual. It could be a year, it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years. The great thing about Deep TMS is most insurance companies now, if you respond to Deep TMS and they see a response as a 50% improvement in your depression scores or greater, then most insurance companies after 6 months or a year will repay for treatment for you. So if you go into remission and then let's say a year and a half later something happens in life and you find that you go back into a depressive state, that's when we tell our clients, don't wait, right? Call right away so we can look at getting you approved for a retreatment.
Wow, that's so awesome. It's so cool to learn about this alternative to having to take medication. I mean, that's the thing that sometimes can take people down different avenues. So this is an alternative treatment method, and it's new to Fort Wayne because you brought it here and people have an opportunity to try it out. So if someone is interested in learning more or to see if it's a right fit for them, do you offer consultations?
Yeah, we absolutely do. We do like people talking to their existing psychiatric provider to let them know their interests, right? Because we like to collaborate with the team, but then they can call and we'll set up an intake. And generally somebody like Kayla will talk to them first for 10 or 15 minutes and do some initial questions and make sure that they're potentially eligible, and then they'll set them up for an appointment with me so that we can dive in a little bit deeper, make sure they're appropriate, and then we start the process of getting it approved through their insurance company.
The insurance. Okay, so is it best for people to, like, what if someone is experiencing signs or symptoms of depression and they may not have a psychiatrist? Do you recommend they take that step first, or can they contact you?
Yeah, so TMS is generally not considered a first-line treatment, right? Insurance companies will not pay in most cases for TMS as a first treatment. The requirement generally is that you have failed 2 to 3 antidepressants. And so if somebody is having their first episode of depression in their life, then we absolutely recommend that you reach out to a psychiatric provider, primary care, whoever, and get immediate help, right? And then if they do that and they find that they've started a couple medications and they're not working, then it's appropriate to reach out to us. But if it's somebody that's already failed 2 or 3 medications, then they by all means can reach out to us directly to start that process.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, such a pleasure being here.
And if you would like more information about Viking Psychiatry, we'll have their website listed below, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Viking Psychiatry.
Follow us on social media at Living Local 15.
Our dogs can't just tell us the gizmos and gadgets that they desire. That puts added pressure on us, their human friends, to pick out the best must-have essentials for our favorite pooches. Here's a look at some of the top trending products for our four-legged friends. First up, upgrade your walks with performance wear inspired harness set from Spark Paws. Each set comes with a comfy cushioned harness, a waterproof leash, and a matching bag holder. Also from Spark Paws, you'll want to grab a pair of their Flex Shell Water Resistant Dog Boots to protect your dog's paws against snow, salt, and mud. The set of 4 boots is made with a water-resistant exterior and soft microfleece interior for protecting their paws. Another great way to keep their paws looking their best is with Paw Hero. Powered by plant-based ingredients, this all-weather super balm protects, nourishes, and repairs paws back to a healthy heel. From the walk to the reward, you'll want to have your furry friend indulging on treats from Sugar Wish. This is the perfect gift for dog lovers everywhere. You can choose from over 40 options of all-natural, wag-worthy dog treats and some adorable wearables like their signature bandana. And they will also need a place to lay their head with this dog bed from Fable. Their signature dog bed features simple, minimalist lines and looks right at home with any decor. The exterior is water-resistant with breathable and stain-resistant material, making it easy to clean. See something you want to snag for your favorite pooch? For any of these items and more great products for your pup, just head on over to bestreviews.com or scan the QR code on your screen.
Best Reviews is owned by our parent company, Nexstar. You can find more on the products and where to buy them on WANE.com.
Living Local 15, proudly driven by the Kelly Automotive Group. Go to the Living Local 15 page on WANE.com for recipes from the show, to watch a segment again, and to get information on products and services featured on Living Local 15. Content segments during today's Living Local 15 were paid for by these sponsors.